What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist. Anyway, I've been listening to that song. If you know what that song is or what it sounds like, I'll give you a hint. It's by Alien Ant Farm. But anyway, I'm here to talk to you about my D&D campaign that I've been running, which revolves around the universe that I've created that is called the Embers of Eternity, or Infinity. One of the two. I'm still contemplating that. However, this one takes place in the world of Shinto Ryu, and this campaign I like to call Dragon's Descent. It takes place in a Japanese themed planet where there are four gods. There's a god, Buddha, and then there's three sibling dragon gods. The dragon god of the sea, the dragon god of the moon, and the dragon god of the sun. Eventually, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens that I'm not going to get into today. That's going to be in the timeline of Shinto Ryu, which might be coming out tomorrow, or at least sometime this week. I'm like 80% done with the script. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about two of the characters, maybe I'll talk about all three, that my players chose to play in this D&D campaign. So first and foremost, I'm the DM, and I've got my wife and then two friends from work playing. It is everybody's first time playing D&D, so there's a lot riding on them actually having fun, enjoying the story, and overall just playing D&D for the first time and just finding out what exactly it has to offer, and I'm kind of the one that has to take them on this adventure. The Willy Wonka on this ride of Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm going to talk about their backstory and how they've been playing their characters so far, and let me know in the comments if you have been the DM and how your first couple of sessions went with players that were brand new to the game. So anyway, I'm going to start with Mayeris, the cleric who follows Zeus. Nestled along the Moonsea, in the quaint village of Elmwood, a daughter was graced to two very fortunate souls. Though their paths were dissimilar, the love between one high elf, Magala, and the human wanderer, Odam, begot a blessed child. In her youth, Mayeris was frail and quite weak, and she was ever prone to sickness. This caused her mother, Magala, to blame this on Odin for his invalid humanity, and eventually it led to her fleeing back to her home of Thalia, leaving Odin alone to raise this child. Odin prayed continuously for the sake of his daughter's health, and soon those pleas were answered. The great god Zeus blessed dear May, restoring her body and curing her ailments. In time, May grew to be an adventurous young woman, very kind-hearted and bright. She was ever constantly helping her father on the farm, and her life overall, you could say, was filled with joy. However, there was a darkness lingering behind the curtains of happiness. Odam was cast into a great depression due to having to raise May all alone, and also knowing the shame of being shunned by his once great love. This took a toll on his body, causing him to grow weaker and sicker, and this eventually led to his death. Young May was orphaned, and with nowhere to go, she found refuge in the temples, and this was when May was raised to be a devout cleric to Zeus. Now at the age of 22, the years of great loss caused a great shift in the once pure and light May, giving to a more reclusive and quick temperament. May then sought out to make a name for herself and create her own adventures, beginning with a venture to confront her distant mother. So this was the first character, a half-elf, half-human cleric to Zeus. May has a lot to pull into her personality. She knows loss but at the same time, she also knows the kindness of her father and what it means to be devout and what it means to pray to a god, because in her world, in her society, prayers actually lead to something. Believing to the whole concept of gods helping humanity. For example, her father prayed to Zeus and it cured her, but at the same time he fell to sickness and disease and death. So she's playing with the light and darkness of humanity, but at the same time she's got her elven half, which is very, I guess, stuck up in a way. She knows that she can better herself, but at the same time, this betterment would lead to other misadventures. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see exactly how this character matures, and if she ever does find her mother. Unfortunately, though, before she could go on this adventure, she got sucked into my universe, so we'll see where that leads her. The next character, however, is Zayat, so let's learn her backstory. Zayat was born to two elf rangers who would act as guides, leading travelers through the forests of her homeland. Zayat could name literally every floral and fauna along the way. Very early, she began picking up on this information, and she was always eager to learn more. One of Zayat's earliest memories is of traveling with her parents through the woods at a very young age. They had just left a town after leaving a traveling group there, and they had begun their journey back. They decided to rest for only a moment. During this time, she ran off to some distance away to play with the trees. Suddenly, she noticed that the air was still and eerily quiet. A horrific noise erupted from the direction where she had left her parents, and just as quickly as it came, the noise was silent again. When she worked up the courage to return, her parents and their supplies were gone without a trace. In that moment, she was all alone in the woods, miles away from any town. She was like that by herself for quite some time, eventually having to pick berries in a hunt for food. She was unsure of how long she would be alone for, but eventually a tribe of nomadic druids happened upon her. She recounted her tale to them, and they were impressed by her ability to survive all on her own, and they sensed that she had a connection to nature. Returning to the spot where her parents had disappeared, they told her that they were unable to determine the cause of her disappearance. Seeing her potential, they adopted her into their tribe. Here she learned that not only these druids were tasked with protecting nature, but they were also an extension of the force of nature. As such, any injury to the natural wilderness of her homeland would be an injury to her. Her tribe taught her more about the forests and the creatures living there. They taught her how to track, how to hunt, and thus her training as a druid began. She had lessons for any situation drawn from observing nature. The older members of the tribe would be in their animal forms more often than not. Because of this, she's very comfortable around animals, more so than people. She would do anything for her tribe. Her tribe is her family now, and it is the most important thing in her life, even when they are far away from her. Due to her past and upbringing, she is very slow to trust strangers. She is also easily distracted by the promise of information. While most people would scream and run when faced with a ferocious beast, she would stop to study it in the hope that it can give her clues as to what happened in her past. After years of training as a druid without finding anything to even hint at the fate of her parents, she has come of age and has now decided that it's time to travel outside her forest and away from her tribe. She now has a new goal: to find out what may have happened to her parents and to pursue the creature that took her old life from her. So all in all, these two characters are very similar. They're both elves, they both lost family, they both were trained by others, whether it be clerics or druids, and now they're on a journey to find out what happened to their family or to find the family. So we get to see in this session that I'm creating how they get to meet one another, how they interact at first, and eventually I'm pretty sure they're going to grow familial bonds between one another, and we'll see how that plays with story building, character arcs, and whatnot. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Sit tight, we'll see where this goes, and again, let me know in the comments if you guys have first started your D&D campaigns with all new players and how that's going. This is the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you then.